Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we will be going over the viewport and the UI basics of Substance Painter. So to start, let's close this welcome window. And if you are starting up Substance Painter for the first time, you will find all your windows placed like this. So for me personally, first I will just rearrange them quickly and show you how to do it. So it is pretty simple. You can just drag and drop all your windows whichever way you want. You can just select them, drag them and place them however you may like. So for me personally, I like to place the assets over here at the bottom like this. And the properties I like to place over here. Yep, something like this. So that the layers and the texture set settings are both together, because we rarely use the texture set settings. So it will be like this only. Layers and properties are the ones that I use the most. Then the shelf and texture set list, we really don't need much space for. So I can just place them over here like this. And yeah, I think this layout works pretty well for me. So if you want to copy that, you can just follow all the steps that I did and have your layout something like this. Or if you want to go for something else, you can definitely go for it. Also, if you feel like you have messed up your layout somehow, you can go over to window and just select reset UI and everything would be back to default. So yeah. So currently we don't have like any model or project in our Substance Painter. So just for the sake of learning, let's open up a sample project. So to open that, you need to go over to File and select Open Sample and just open up this Meet Mat sample project. Don't worry, I will teach you how we can import our models and set up our projects and everything. But for now, just to go over all the viewport basics, I have opened up a sample project. So yeah. As you can see, now everything has popped up in our texture set list, in our layers and also in our properties section. But we don't need to worry about these windows for now. We will go over them in the next videos. For now, let's focus on this 3D window. So to move around this 3D window, it is pretty simple. So you just need to hold Alt and use your mouse buttons. So to rotate your model in 3D window, hold Alt and use your left mouse button and drag it like this. To rotate your model, you can use your scroll wheel along with Alt to pan like this. And then you can use Alt and right click to zoom in or out. Alternatively, you can also zoom in or out using your scroll wheel like this, just by dragging it up or down. And if you want to pan, you need to hold Alt and click with your scroll wheel like this and then drag it. So really, these are the three main shortcuts that you need to learn to move around in Substance Painter window. So make sure to get comfortable with them. So just hold Alt and use your left mouse button to rotate. You can use scroll wheel, like click the scroll wheel to pan around your window and the right click to zoom. I rarely use the Alt plus right click. I just use my scroll wheel to zoom in or zoom out. All right. The next thing is if you are maybe lost in the window like this, you can just click F and you can see we will focus over our model. So just hit F to focus. All right. So the next thing is if you will hold Alt and Shift, then use your left mouse button, you will snap the camera in 90 degrees like this. So it is pretty helpful while working. So just hold Alt and Shift and use your left mouse button to snap the camera while rotating. Also, if you would have noticed, if you will click any of the buttons, like if I hold Alt, you will see this small window over here which has all the shortcuts written related to Alt. So Alt plus left is camera rotate, Alt plus middle is camera translate. Similar way, if you hold Shift, you will find all these shortcuts that are related to Shift. We will learn all these shortcuts like one by one as the course progresses. But for now, I'm just telling you all the shortcuts that you need to not like overwhelm yourself. So yeah, if you will like hold Control, you will find all the shortcuts related to Control. Alright, so now if you will press F1 on your keyboard, you will find a 2D window along with this 3D window, which is basically your UV map of the selected texture set. We can also like paint over this 3D window and also this 2D window. So if you have selected this layer and just select this paint tool, don't worry, we will go over all this in detail. But for now, just select this paint tool and if you will paint like this, you can see we are painting over here in the 2D window. as soon as we paint over here in the 3D. Similarly, we can also paint over here and it will show up over here on the 3D window. So yeah, you can paint on both of them. The benefit of this 2D window is if you want to like stamp something directly like a sticker onto the UVs, or maybe if you want to paint like a straight line like this. If you want to know the shortcut for painting a straight line, we just need to hold Control and Shift, but we will go over this later on definitely, don't worry about that. So yeah, if you will press F2 again, you will be back in the 3D window. So F1 is for 2D window, F2 is for 3D window, F3 is for just for the 2D window. And if you have both opened up, you will press F4 to switch between both of them. Although I don't see the use for this, but yeah, it is there. So let's press F2 to come back to the 3D window. Alternatively, you can also access all these options from over here. As you can see over here, F1, F2, F3 and F4. You can also, like, if you want, maybe select F3 for just the 2D window, go over here and open 3D in a window like this. I think the use for this is if someone has like two different monitors, they can place the 2D window or the 3D window on a separate monitor and then work over it on there. So yeah, I personally don't see the use for this as I just have a single monitor only. So I will close this, press F1. Also, as you can see, this particular model is divided up into 3 different texture sets. We will learn about texture sets in the next video only. But just to show you guys, if you will select the body from here, you will see as soon as I select it, the UVs have changed to the body. And if I select the base, you will see the UVs have again changed to the base now. So if I select the body this time, I can now paint over here like this. You see, if I select the base, then I can paint over here. Also, one more thing, the same shortcuts work over here in the 2D window also. Hold Alt and use your left mouse button to rotate it like this. Again, you can hold Alt and Shift to snap them in proper 90-degree angles. I think that makes it easier. You can again hold Alt and use your middle mouse button. Just click it to pan around the window like this and use your right click to zoom in or zoom out, or just use the scroll wheel. So yeah, the same shortcuts that work in the 3D window also work in the 2D window. I will select the texture set head back again. Now press F2 to come back in the 3D window. Alright, so the next thing that I want to show you guys is if you will click over here on this icon, you can switch between the perspective and the orthographic view like this. So perspective view is the view that we will stay most of our times in, but orthographic view is like a 2D view for the 3D view. So it sounds kind of confusing, but it is really not. Let me just demonstrate it to you. So hold Alt and Shift to first snap your camera like this. And now if you will change from perspective to orthographic view, you will immediately see the difference. So this is the orthographic view and this one is the perspective. So you can see the base over here looks kind of 3D, but as soon as I shift this to orthographic, it is now completely flat. The whole model is now completely flat. So the orthographic view is basically a 2D view for our 3D model. So now you can hold Alt and Shift and then snap like this, and you can see it is perfectly 2D. If you change this into perspective, you will immediately see the difference between both of them. So yeah, again, orthographic view is like really useful when we are stamping stickers onto our model that requires like a certain bit of accuracy. So yeah, perspective view can kind of get a little bit inaccurate. So whenever I am stamping stickers or something like that, I will just move on to the orthographic view. Also, you can switch between both of them by pressing F5 and F6 like this. Alright, so the last thing that I want to show you is if you will hold Shift and then use your right click, you can move the environment lighting like this. So this way you can like view your model from all different angles and in a different bit of lighting. While rotating, you can also see the roughness and everything properly. So yeah, it is like a nice bit of shortcut to remember. So just hold Shift and use your right click, move around the lighting this way. Alright, so yeah, I think this much is enough for the basics of the UI and the viewport. We will continue from here in the next lecture, where we will learn more about all these windows that are over here: the shelf, the properties window, layers, texture set, and the texture set list. So yeah, we will go over everything one by one. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.